This mini workflow is a pretty interesting way of adding data to your environment. You can add proximity from geometry. So in this case, you can see that we have a few green curves here. They're on a layer called attractors. And if I add another point to that layer, my gradient changes. And so we can see that the closest proximity to any of these things in plan shows up as white and then creates a gradient outward from that. You can actually do any kind of geometry here. The geo pipeline is bringing in attractor geometry from that attractor layer. It can be a point, a curve, a brep, or a mesh. And the way this works is first we create an environment. We have the environment boundary and the topography. We always make the topography a little bit bigger than the boundary. That's just something to note. If you made the topography smaller, this is what you'd get. You get sort of a simplification of the elevation data of the of that topography. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is this component, this add feature proximity layer. So here we have an environment going in, a name, so proximity layer. We could call this anything. And then the features that we're going to use to test proximity. In this way, we could add multiple proximity layers if we wanted to for later operations for planting design or creating formulaic understandings of intersections between proximities for suitability. But in this case, we just want to simply demonstrate how proximity works. And then we can draw that layer. So we're using the same name, proximity layer, plugged in over here. And in the environment that's had that layer added to it, and we're elevating that layer. We also have a few controls here in the Grasshopper panel. The cell size, which we can simplify. So if you have a very large environment that you're trying to analyze, you may turn down the detail here. And then you can elevate the topography or not, so you can turn that off. And then you can bake that mesh at any point for visualization purposes. So that's proximity. It's pretty straightforward. I think this would work really great in combination with other layers and beginning to explore the suitability or constraints of planting or other kinds of design interventions.